Hey guys, I want to thank you for joining us tonight for just a few moments as we go to the Lord in prayer. If you haven't heard already, this is going to be our last week of joining together online at 5 o'clock just to pray together. As you are aware, most of you who have been joining us on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, we've been doing this ever since the coronavirus started. And this is just our way as a church of keeping connected with one another and for our hearts to stay close to one another, even though we're spread apart and socially distant right now. And each night I've been trying to pay a particular attention towards a group of people that are impacted by this virus, or thanking the Lord for a particular group of people that are working hard to try to help us to get healthy and to get back to whatever the new normal looks like. Well, tonight I want you to think for just a second about the folks that are older in our community. And I'm specifically talking about people that are much older, they're living at home, they're by themselves, they're not that comfortable with technology, so they're really, really alone, really isolated, because their health is in jeopardy. They may be more inclined, if they get the virus, to be very severe or even to die from it. And so they've self-isolated and also not really good with technology, so not that easy to stay connected with family or with people that are in our community. So think about, for weeks now or even months now, how lonely that feels. Psalm 71 verse 9 describes what this feels like. This is, of course, the psalmist speaking to God. And he says, "Do not abandon me in my old age. Do not forsake me as my strength fails." But really, he's asking God to remain close to him. The psalmist is also kind of asking God to continue to minister to him. And as you know, one of the ways that God ministers to people is through other people. He uses his people, sends his people to other people when they're alone or when they're hurting. So I want you to think about for just a second somebody maybe in your family, somebody who may be a friend that is older, not that comfortable with technology, whose health is a concern, so they've been self-isolated and is really lonely right now. Would you, after we get done praying in just a second, reach out to them? Would you let them know that you love them, that you're thinking about them? Maybe a simple text message or maybe a phone call will be the thing that would really bless somebody who is older and alone. I'm going to have a quick prayer and then we're going to wrap up. I want to thank you for joining us. I want to ask you to pray about somebody who's older and alone and maybe really in need of a personal touch. So would you think about reaching out to them after we get done praying together? Let's spend a minute, pause for just a second, and go to the Lord in prayer. Father, I want to lift up to you friends, neighbors who are in their house because of the coronavirus, who are alone right now, don't have a spouse because they're a widow or a widower, don't have children or grandchildren coming over right now because they're concerned about their own health and are not that comfortable with technology. Father, would you help us to take the initiative? Would you help us to reach out to them? Would you help us to let them know that we love them and that we're thinking about them? And God, would you minister to people like this through us? Just like Psalm 71 verse 9 says, would you show these people that you still love them by sending your people to just reach out to them and to let them know that we love them also? Father, I thank you as always for the people from Two Cities Church in the Chattahoochee Valley, or those that are connecting with our church around the country or around the world, that are loving you and loving our neighbor as ourselves. And God, would you bless them?